Okay, this week our main topic of discussion is going to be one of the other families of rocks. In this case, the family we're going to focus on is the metamorphic rocks. So you should have the printout of the notes. Yours should be just one page. I kind of enlarged it for VoiceThread so we can see a little bit better, so it's stretched out over 2 pages for me. I'm using the camera today because I do want to show you some specific examples of these different ones and compare them to the last group as well. Alright, so metamorphic rocks. Rocks that have been formed from existing rocks due to, what's in the blanks here, heat and pressure. Heat and pressure is what changes previously existing rocks into metamorphic rocks. So as you look at the subpoints here, number 1, metamorphic rocks can form from previous igneous rocks. They can form from sedimentary rocks. They can actually form from other metamorphic rocks. If the heat and pressure are extreme, melting will occur. The end result is, what goes in the blank here, magma. It'll remelt back into magma. If there's no melting, typically what you get then is just layers of rock. So here's an example. Let's say if you take a sedimentary rock like shale. Shale's a pretty common rock around Pennsylvania. You find it in the hillsides around here all the time. Well, if shale is buried deep within the earth, it'll first metamorphosize or change into the metamorphic rock called slate. If it's not exposed to the surface and more heat and pressure is put under slate, it'll change into the metamorphic rock called phyllite. Same thing, if phyllite or phyllite isn't changed, or if it does change, it'll change into a metamorphic rock called schist. And if schist is put under enough heat and pressure, it'll turn into the metamorphic rock called gneiss. Classification for metamorphic rock is probably the simplest of the different groups. 2 classifications. Letter A is called foliated. F-O-L-I-A-T-E-D. Foliated is when the mineral grains flatten or line up in parallel bands. Some examples of different foliation is slate and gneiss. G-N-E-I-S-S. That's actually the example I want to show you. Previously we had looked at igneous rocks. Here is an example of granites. Granite is a very common igneous rock. And you'll see that granite has crystals. So this is actually an intrusive igneous rock. Well, here is the metamorphic form of granite. It's called gneiss. Now, I don't know if you can see the difference, but basically the mineral grains have kind of flattened or lined up into layers. And hopefully you can see kind of this layering effect. So granite turns into the metamorphic rock called gneiss. Another example I can show you is, well, here's the metamorphic form of shale. This is called slate. They actually used to use slate as part of chalkboards in old schoolhouses. We don't really use chalkboards anymore. You can probably see behind me we use the whiteboards right now, but that's what chalkboards used to be made out of, was slates. And again, that's just a different metamorphic rock form. Alright, moving down to letter B then, the other classification category is called non-foliated, N-O-N-F-O-L-I-A-T-E-D. Non-foliated, there's no banding. The mineral grains either change, they can grow, or they can rearrange themselves. Marble is the metamorphic form of limestone. I don't have limestone pulled out here, but I do have marble. Marble is pretty common. You may have some marble in your household. You may have marble countertops, or maybe some marble floor tile, or maybe have some columns in front of your house that are made up of marble. So those are probably the most common metamorphic rocks that I can show you as far as specific examples. So you'll see with this section there are a couple of video assignments, some short videos you got to watch with metamorphism. This section also is the last section dealing with the minerals and rocks. So the final assignment with this section is a review, and then you will eventually have to take the test. So study up on your notes. You want to look at the mineral notes. You want to look at the notes for igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, and metamorphic rocks. And then eventually you do want to take the quiz or test that goes along with this section before you go on to the next section. So that is it for now.